Here's the carburetor. Doesn't look much different. What I did, I don't recommend it. It's not recommended. It's recommended to put these on dry. But I didn't have the hugest amount of confidence in myself that, you know, if I took it up, I thought, well, it might stick to something and tear. And if I didn't do something right, I'd have to do it again. And so I made it a little moist with just some garbage oil. There it is, just like that. I had to move into the garage and show you some things that I knew you couldn't see in the small area of the engine area. Let's take a look. The bolts, or the nuts that we talked about, there was 4 of them. And here's a hole. I'm going to turn it up like this so you can see. And here's one, and here's one, and there's 2 more. And there's a gasket, this paper gasket, and nothing is required when you put it on. You can put it on dry. In the video, I was concerned that, oh, I might have to take it off and put it back and something might get weird, and so I just took some ordinary oil, just old oil. I think it was even a transmission oil, and just kind of wet it a little bit with that so that if I had to do something, I wouldn't be stuck. Okay, then we talked about the throttle linkage. Here is the throttle linkage, and a little gizmo attaches to it, and this goes in and out, and that has to be removed and replaced when the carburetor goes on. The fuel inlet is here, right here. My suspicions were that the fuel inlet had a screen in it and the screen was plugged. That was not so. That was not the problem. And this is the one that came off. One of the adjustment screws of the carburetor is here. And all that one does, when you turn it, makes this guy adjust slightly. It's just I want to say a throttle stop that will keep the throttle from going too slow. So there's the throttle stop screw. Okay. This one on this carburetor, for mine, it doesn't, the boat's too old, but I think this is a return. If you have a hose going down below, then that goes. And the marine carburetor, as opposed to the car ones, these curved pipes would mean that if something overflowed inside, it would dump inside of the carburetor instead of outside and make fumes. We also discussed a couple of wires that went on this electric choke. There's 2 wires. One goes and is controlled by, when you turn the key on, there's a little element in there. One goes to the key area and then the other goes to ground. And interestingly, inside is this coil spring. So when that thing gets warm due to the current, this choke activates. Not so good, is it? See how it kind of sticks? In this position, it should go all the way over to here. So one of the problems, the obvious one, is here. But let's go back now, and after I got it running, and you couldn't see, I was just talking, the adjustment screws are here on this. There's one here and one on the other side. And so whoever rebuilds the carburetor will set the screws at a general setting, and then it's up to you to jiggle it around. If you tighten it, it becomes leaner, and if you loosen it, it becomes richer, and at some point you get the motor to run pretty nice. There's one there and one here. I also replaced this coil. I didn't have any real reason to replace it. I did just because I had a high performance coil. On this one, all of these pluses, can you see? It has a plus here and a minus here. So the plus side would be when you turn your key on, but before you start it, it energizes the coil. Power goes to the coil. The other side goes to the distributor, and that's the ground wire. Okay? Can you listen?
One of the ways I'm testing this is to feel the canister. And the canister, the temperature is actually much cooler than it was the other day. So this filter is being pumped, this filter is not, but they're both full of fuel now, and it certainly appears that whatever was wrong isn't wrong anymore.
Thanks for watching. I sure enjoyed doing it for you. See you soon. Bye. I could use some help. Like me, would you? Starting to get to me. Like me, subscribe me.